What's up, guys? Broken Notes here for another video, and I'm gonna be teaching you guys what is effective against alpha, what's not effective against alpha, and what's, I guess, on paper it sounds good against alpha. Before this video starts, well, at least before I start commenting on what to use and what not to use, is with alpha, I have over 70 games with her before she was meta, before everybody started picking her, before her bug. So I would say I'm pretty knowledgeable with alpha. Now, let's start off the video with, I would say it was interesting against alpha, which on paper it sounds good, but I'm not really sure. Since I'm not good with the hero at all, or I just never used it. There's only two heroes that I put on the list, which is, I say, some interesting picks against alpha. But with one of them, I'm not sure if it will be effective. First, we can start with Idris. I'm not sure how to say his name, but I would assume he's actually decently effective against alpha. It seems like on paper, so I have him, but I'm just bad with him, so I don't even use him. Like for climbing purposes, I definitely don't use him. I have below a 50% win rate, so I'm just, all in all, I'm not good with Idris. But like I said, what's interesting is his ult. What I'm looking at his ult mostly is that his ult can completely negate Alpha's her reboot. This is her explosion, her ultimate. It can completely negate it if he times it properly. But I don't know if that's enough to be able to defeat Alpha. To be honest, like, while I think it over, I'm not sure, and I don't really think so much that it will actually be effective enough to defeat Alpha just because he can negate that ultimate. But it's definitely interesting to look at, and I'm just on the fence with that. Now with the new hero, Baptiste, if I'm saying his name correctly, on paper, he sounds extremely effective against alpha. He have a fear, and also he have pretty much, it's like a little baby Arden ult, if you think about it. It's a single target baby Arden ult. So if she gets out of that, if you manage to, I think it's called Condemn. I don't know the name exactly, but if you be alpha, I think, yeah, it should be his B. If you be alpha and she gets out of that circle, she will get stunned. So I would say it's really damn effective. If she's trying to ult you, you can hit her with the B and she will be trapped inside that circle unless she have reflex block, or she will end up blowing up in the circle because she can't. The stun will completely stop her from moving towards her target, or pretty much that, yeah. Pretty much his B would just completely like negate any initiation. That's why I like Baptiste. I think Baptiste would be a pretty good damn hero in this current meta, especially since people are still using the hell out of Fortress, and Baptiste, he can actually stop that aggression. He can at least stop one. He can at least stop one person, one of the enemy hero's aggression. Like if Fortress uses A, everybody will get an attack. Will get a speed buff towards the target that he used his A on. So I think on paper he sounds pretty decent against alpha, but I don't know if he can actually kill her in at least a 3v3 if both teams have like decent roams. I don't know if Baptiste can do that well against her because she's a warrior, she's the bruiser, and if I'm correct, isn't Baptiste what is it? Is he an assassin maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his role is. Oh, let me look that up real quick. I'm actually curious. Is he an assassin, or let me see, where is he? I'm actually not really sure what does his role entail. Let's see if I can find that real quickly. Nah, I can't find it. Well, I'll look at that later. I really am not sure. Oh, actually, I can see right here. Let me see. Oh yeah, he's an assassin. Yeah, he's an assassin. So I don't know if he will do well against alpha if they actually do like a 1v1, for example. I'm not sure, but his moveset, well, his kit could definitely diffuse the hell out of alpha. So I think he will be pretty damn well against alpha. He can do pretty well against alpha, at least at least diffusing her. He can diffuse the hell out of her with his B and his ult. He could use the fear, and he could get her in the little baby Arden ult. Alright. So, like, those are my two. Like, on paper, they sound pretty good, but I don't know how well they will do together. Well, I don't know how well that they will do in the actual, like, on the field, like the field testing. I'm not really sure. Now, I want to talk about some of the good matchups. Like, the first I'll be talking about is Ozo. Of course, you can see right here, so you can actually just witness it. And how Ozo does really well against Alpha. So Ozo, he's an assassin jungler, and one of the reasons why Ozo does so well against Alpha is because his sustain. If I'm correct, I think he gets like, well, first off, he received 25% more heals, and his A also heals him every sequence he does the attack. You know, his rings, it heals him, and also he receives a barrier from his B. So with all of that together, it would, like, Alpha would have a hard time actually bursting him down, or at least killing him in general, at least killing him because of his sustain and the fortified health. That's why Ozo is an excellent counter pick, and anytime I play against an Alpha, I always use like an Ozo or something, because Ozo does extremely well against Alpha because of his fortified health and the healing. And you know, if you can get a bonus and get like an Adagio on your team, then it will even do more wonders. Now, the next matchup that's pretty good against Alpha is Kroll. Kroll, of course, he had the same thing as Ozo. He got the sustain, and he also have the fortified health. Like, straight up 100%. In a 1v1, Alpha will lose. In a 1v1, Alpha will lose. And both of them are equally, at least both of them have equal items. They're equally, like, they have equal, like, CS, equal, like, armor, shield, or whatever. In an equal matchup, Alpha will lose 100%. Definitely, Kroll, he's one of the best duelists. At least melee versus melee duelists. Like, he will just straight up always win. Because you would have to fight him in an unconventional way. Maybe you would have to kite him, and you would have to use, like, you would poke him out. Maybe like Blackfeather, you have to keep poking him out. But definitely in a melee versus melee duel, Kroll will win 100% because of his sustain. And also he have weaken too, so he can also decrease the damage of the person he's attacking. And his fortified health, self-healing, all that good stuff. Now, another good matchup is Rhyme. Rhyme, he does excellent against Alpha because of his root. Alpha is sort of like, to defuse Alpha, you want to have CC, and that root does really well against Alpha. Also, Rhyme, he have a lot of fortified health, but he generates it as the match goes on. So every time he hits you with an auto attack, and if I'm correct, when he does his root, he also gains fortified health from that too. He becomes like a damn tank. It is difficult for Alpha to actually take him down. That's one of the reasons why I love using Rhyme. Well, my Rhyme is decent, but I like using Rhyme against Alpha. But I like to combine it up with a Lance just to sweeten the deal. Now, next on my list is Rona. It's the same thing. Rona, she has fortified health. And also, when Alpha is actually attacking Rona while she's ulting, Rona is actually doing continuous damage to Alpha with the fortified health stacking up, which will give Alpha a difficult time trying to kill Rona in that situation. Her ult, and when she's doing her tornado attack, the ult, she's also doing continuous damage. And if you have BP stacks, your damage is increasing as the battle goes on. That's why Rona is pretty damn good against Alpha, and I would recommend using that against her. Another good matchup now we're going towards the roamers is Lyra. Now, it is one reason why Lyra is so good. It's because of her B. Her root is so good against Alpha. Not root, it's a snare. Her snare is so good against Alpha. When Alpha's in that snare, she can't use her B and she can't use her A. Meaning she's pretty much a sitting duck in that situation. So if you can time it right, you can actually, and she's ulting, and if you can time the B right, she'll be stuck in that snare. She will just be moving slowly towards you, and if you have some war trash or something, you can get your team to disengage, and once Alpha actually does the explosion, to re-engage and focus on Alpha. That's what Alpha is really like. If like as a person who have over 70 games with Alpha, it's extremely painful to use an Alpha versus a Lyra. Now to the next character that's really good against Alpha is Lance, because Lance he's good against almost anybody. If you can land those roots, if you can land those stuns, then you can shut down any character. He's so good in that aspect. His root is beautiful. His stuns is so good, and also the thing about Lance is that when he gets those CCs off, he can line up the enemies for his teammates. He can line them up. So that's why he's really good to get with the Celeste. It's easier to actually line them up for the Celeste, to actually put them in a stationary spot, the enemy in a stationary spot. And so that for example, the damn Celeste can get that continuous damage on the hero he's actually CCing. So all in all, Lance is really good against Alpha. So if you're a roam main, you're going against a Alpha, or if you're just filling, use Lance. He's really good against Alpha. In fact, he just one of those picks that is universally good. Arden, one of my favorite roams in the game. Have like about around 60% win rate with Arden, and just that what makes Arden so good is just his insane pill, his ult. And I guess his gap closing is really good, since you can definitely use the gap close with his I think that's his B, and then you can use the A to slow for your allies to catch up to the person that you're targeting. But just in a defensive matter, it's just that Alpha since she can gap close at a decent rate because of her B. Her B, a gap close, it does damage, and also it builds up stack, which she can follow up with her A, which will do increased damage because of her 3 stacks she will probably receive off of you. But Arden, he gets that he have that excellent peel that can help your laner or your jungler get out of a sticky situation. And his ult is extremely beautiful against Alpha. That's why I love using Arden against Alpha. Obviously, he got the peel, and his ult can also diffuse Alpha. But like for that situation to work, you need to stay inside your gauntlet. One thing I like to do against Alpha when I have when I'm like an Arden is to either try to ult the laner or the roam inside your gauntlet and have her on the outside, so she will either be forced to use actives to get into the fight, or if she ults, you can use your gauntlet to actually trap her inside with you, so that your laner and the jungler can escape with ease. Of course, there's situations where reflex block can also counteract my hypothesis, but overall, Arden is really good against Alpha. Another pick that does pretty well against Alpha is Catherine. Now, Catherine, which is really interesting. I had a game, I think like about last week or a few days ago, is somebody played CP Catherine. CP Catherine is like one of those pocket picks that you can use against Alpha. Unfortunately, I want to experience the matchup myself, but in POA, 9 out of 10, if you try to do a CP Catherine jungle, someone's going to dodge. Because people that's on POA, the people that's not POA, if you don't know, is that low party queue don't mean anything to us, because we get 8-minute games. So low party queue literally means nothing to us. So dodging in higher tier queues like 9 and 10, it just means absolutely nothing to us. So we already get long ass queues. So getting low party queue just means nothing. Like, it doesn't affect us in any way. We already get 8-minute queues. And as a fun fact, the timer actually maxes out at around 8 or 8:01, meaning you will always get a game within 8 minutes or 8 minutes and 1 second. So with those long timers, getting temporary low priority Q literally means nothing to us. So unfortunately, I couldn't actually experience the matchup myself, but I actually had a teammate that used it and did pretty damn well against Alpha. In fact, when Alpha would actually do her ult and Catherine had the bubble up, Catherine actually did 50% of her health on Alpha's reboot phase. It was insane. Like, it gave me that eureka moment, like, wow, now I have another hero that I can use in my repertoire against Alpha. But since it's rather uncommon for people to actually to use, well, people who don't use CP Catherine against an Alpha. But I'll be talking more about the roaming, just the roaming aspect. So I'll give you guys a little insight so you guys can try that out. If you're going against an Alpha, try some CP Catherine. But remember to save your bubble for that situation where she ults, because you will most likely do like half of her HP on her reboot phase. So Catherine, what's so good about Catherine is that she's really good against characters that have a momentum. With Alpha, you can sort of diffuse her with your stun, and also you can use your ultimate effectively if you time it right. Because if you can stun her if you can hit her with your silence while she's ulting, her only method of gap closing is either if she receives like a buff, a speed buff from like from a fortress or from a Arden, or if she uses boots to at least attempt to catch up with you. So if you could time her ultimate correctly, she can't use her A or her B to gap close, which would put her in a sticky situation where she blows up, affects nobody, and your teammates can actually re-engage and attack her while she's in her defenseless state where she can't defend herself. And her A, of course, if you could time that properly, you can actually, when she's like ulting, you can stop her with the ult so she can't have any movements because she will be stunned. So I say Catherine is pretty good, but I don't think she's as good. Well, I would say she does pretty well with the other roamers versus an Alpha. Now, I'm gonna be pretty brief. I'm gonna talk about the bad matchups, what you should never use against Alpha. These are of course, all these are opinion based. It's based off of this, what I've experienced me playing as Alpha. It's that you don't want to use Jewel, Celeste, Sky, Scarf, Saw, Petal, Kestrel, mainly because either Alpha, she's a bruiser, so she will do really well against Jewel, Celeste, so it's difficult to actually kill them. But the main issue is that how squishy Celeste, Sky, Scarf, Saw, Petal, and Kestrel is. So that's why I wouldn't recommend using them against her. And also, most of them lack an escape route, except for Jewel. She got that jump. But on a 1v1, Alpha will always beat Jewel. At least if they're evenly matched, Alpha will always win. But pretty much, I just wouldn't recommend using Celeste, Sky, Scarf, Saw, Petal, and Kestrel, and Jewel against Alpha, because of how Alpha, again, she's definitely a 1v1 champion against Jewel. Like, she will always win 100% in that matchup. But with everybody else, either they have no means of escaping her, or just that they're just too squishy to be able to survive her initial beatings. But besides that, I hope this video actually helps you guys to defend yourself against Alpha. Use these methods, test it out, and tell me how your results are. Have a great day, great night, all that good stuff. Hit that subscribe button for more videos, and have a great day. Talk to you guys later.